The following program is rated 14 plus and contains scenes of violence, coarse language, and mature themes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Are we chanted?
End racism! Stop police brutality! Black lives matter! Indigenous lives matter! All lives won't matter until all lives matter!
Get the hell out of here, please. Move right out of here, Antifa.
Hate is insidious. It spreads like a virus and impacts us all.
Get out! Get out!
I've been physically attacked. I'm not safe.
How can you sweep us under the rug when we're people too?
And by us, you mean?
Black people.
Everybody just turned a blind eye. And I think because she was Native.
What do you see in this river when you look at it from your perspective? Us, we see it has unmarked graves in there.
Are you good there? Do you need my help?
No, I'm good. Everything is just the same the way it was. All the earrings that you see there are hers. She made those herself.
She made these ones
Yeah,
herself.
the beaded ones herself, yeah, in school.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
That's some talent.
And that's her star blanket. Her name is written on the wall over there where she wrote it herself.
Come on in.
Thanks.
Okay.
What do you have in there?
Search equipment.
What is it? Can you take me through
We have
it?
ropes in case we're out there, and first aid kit, more ropes, ties to tie off, bags to bag and tie. Things we find have to go in here.
You see these pictures on these things there? We are the voice of these people. They can't find themselves, so we have to get up and go find these people so they can be back with their loved ones. They can't come home.
No.
So why do you have Tina's picture
Because
up there?
the family gifted me this. This was a gift from the family for all the efforts that I put into searching for her.
She wasn't just my granddaughter. She was my best friend. She was just everything to me. I don't even want to touch anything in here, like to paint it, because this was her room. That was her last Christmas present. It's never been opened. And I talk to her picture. I get up in the morning, I say, "Good morning, my baby," and when I go to bed at night, I'll say, "Good night, I'll see you in the morning."
She's the reason why a lot of this inquiry started, you know, because of a 15-year-old. Out of all the girls and women that went missing, why did it take a 15-year-old to spark an inquiry when it should have started right off the start?
That's what hurts. This will help with your balance.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna look for any evidence of somebody that might be missing or murdered. These are things that we usually look for: identification, blood, No bones around. Nope, nothing.
You wonder why you see blankets like that along the water, huh?
Yeah.
You know,
Well, that's kind of like the blanket that Tina Fontaine was wrapped up
yeah,
in.
it's a duvet, yeah.
Do you remember the day that Tina was found here?
Yeah. Not the exact date, but the day, yeah. I do.
Where were you guys that day?
On the river.
On the river.
Dragon.
So what does this place bring back memories of?
Oh, evil memories. The water could speak.
They pulled her up right over,
Mm-hmm.
right over here, was it?
A little bit more over here.
Tina Fontaine was only 15 years old when her lifeless body was found in Winnipeg's Red River in August 2014.
Tina came to the city to see her biological mother in June of 2014, but was reported missing at the end of July, having disappeared from the care of Child and Family Services.
Her body was pulled from the Red River near the Alexander Docks, wrapped up in a duvet cover that was covered in a leaf pattern weighed down with rocks.
I don't want to know, like, how she died. She's gone. I just want to know why. When she was so tiny. You know, when she had left here, she was 120 pounds. When they pulled her body out of the Red River, she was only 77. I don't know what happened to her, and it was only 6 weeks.
Winnipeg police eventually arrested Raymond Cormier for Fontaine's murder.
Cormier has pled not guilty to the second-degree murder charge.
Among a backdrop of anger and tears, a jury found the man charged in her death, Raymond Cormier, not guilty.
What systems failed her?
Every system. Every system failed her, even the justice system. The healthcare system, CFS, like the police, everybody just turned a blind eye. And I think because she was Native.
The startling new report released today details just how support services failed the 15-year-old before her death sparked national outrage.
To know Tina's story, to really understand how she came to symbolize a churning anger of a nation enraged, each of us can look as far back as the arrival of European settlers and as close to home as the depths of our own involvement or indifference in the lives and experiences of Indigenous youth.
Kayla Arkinson, my other granddaughter, she was murdered 2 years ago. Janine Fontaine, another granddaughter of mine, she was shot and she was set on fire. She's laying right behind you. And that's Tina's first cousin. It's never gonna stop. How many, like after Tina, have died already?
Do you think more girls will wash up on the shores of the Red River?
I think so. If not the Red River, it'll be in a dump. Somewhere where they can't be found right away. But I know there'll be more like Tina. It's never ever gonna stop.
Well, we'll do a prayer.
Even though we've walked so far today
Yeah,
and found nothing,
yeah,
I mean, you must have many days like that where you find nothing.
yeah. You just get back up and keep doing it until you do find something.
When I talked to an elder, she said she was a chosen one. She was chosen to be on this earth for a short time only. And like Lisa Meach said she was a trailblazer. She started everything up again. And I think that's what the elder was trying to tell me, that she's going to open doors for everybody.
And do you believe that she did?
You're already expecting that you're going to be called an abuser or a drug seeker.
Yeah.
That is a given for you
Yes.
when you walk into a hospital.
Yes.
I feel like I have to make sure I have to put myself together, present myself a different way, not looking like a so-called bum. You know, just present myself in a way that is approachable and for them to take me seriously.
The first thing I'm noticing about your bedroom is all the pills here on the nightstand. How many pills a day would you say you take?
Oh my goodness. 3 of these, 5, 6, about 9? 9 or 10? Yeah.
Daily, every day?
Every single morning.
For the rest of your life?
For the rest of my life.
So what's sickle cell disease?
So sickle cell disease is a blood disorder. Some people describe it as, you know, getting stabbed, electric shock, can't function, we can't talk. It's very scary. It almost feels like you're in a dark hole where nobody can reach out to you and help you.
Are there times where your pain isn't believed?
Oh, I would say all the time. All the time. The intensity of the pain is not believed.
And how much of that has to do with the color of your skin?
I would say the majority, because of the fact that we're labeled drug seekers. We're questioned more. We are
as black patients.
As black patients. This is why we hesitate to go to the hospital, because it's almost like an uphill battle. A friend of mine with sickle cell a couple of years ago was handcuffed to his bed. He was trying to advocate for himself, and what the hospital is quick to do is call security.
I'm having a full-blown crisis, and then you have a security guard tell me that, hey, tone it down, calm down, or we're gonna kick you out. I'm at a point where I want to lose my mind, because I'm like, yo, I'm going through pain on a level that you'll never ever understand. You would have to probably cut off a limb with no anesthesia or something of that nature, and you want me to just be like this. And it's like, shut up. And it's like, how? Like, how could I do that?
As you're experiencing the worst pain.
Yeah, so.
You're part of a support group.
Yes.
Why is a support group so important?
For me, it's a way of connecting to the community, connecting with individuals, connecting with families, you know, letting them understand, you know what, no matter what, you're going to be okay.
So who are we meeting today?
Oh, we're going to meet Cecile and Venice. Cecile has sickle cell, and Venice's daughter has sickle cell. Here they are.
Hi, guys.
Hi, you guys. So I was diagnosed with sickle cell at age 14.
My daughter, she was born with full-blown sickle cell. Right now, she is 10 years old. The first time my daughter ever had a crisis, she had swelling on her hands. When I brought her in, and they're like, oh, what happened? You know, were you swinging your baby by her arms? Are you sure?
Yeah.
You know, so none of your kids held her by the arms?
You've been
swinging?
accused of abusing your
of
daughter.
Abuse, yes. This is something that's common amongst sickle cell patients.
How does it feel to be in a hospital looking for care and being accused of being a drug user or an abusive parent?
It doesn't feel good, and it's been the norm. So I find that each individual person would have to know what they're going to do and say when they get in there.
So you're already expecting that you're going to be called an abuser or a drug seeker.
Yeah.
That is a given for you
Yes.
when you walk into a hospital.
Yes. But it's the stigmatism of us black people. We're not educated. We're not family oriented. We're not careful people. We're criminals. We're this, we're that. She must have done something to herself. Make she's in pain. Oh, well, now here she comes. She wants more drugs. That's what you get all the time.
There's either lack of knowledge or a lack thereof where people either don't care or it's just funny like how the medical profession just sweeps us under the rug. And I'm like, how can you sweep us under the rug when we're people too?
And by us, you mean?
Black people.
You think because sickle cell is something that, you know, for the most part impacts the black population, do you think that has something to do with it?
100%.
What gives you hope? What, you know, do you see kind of the needle moving here?
People willing to talk about it now, at least.
It's one of the most common genetic disorders in the world. And now a Toronto foundation is partnering with Sick Kids Hospital in the battle against sickle cell disease.
Today, the NDP introduced the Improve Access to Healthcare Act.
This bill will help save lives.
A bill that, if passed, will put protocols to establish high standards of care for Ontarians living with sickle cell.
Your new father, looking towards the future, are you hopeful that perhaps what you say about your experiences can improve our healthcare system?
Well, it's going to have to, right? Because if our government is going to continue to praise themselves on being the best that they can be, then they can't overlook the marginalized parts of society. Like, we have an opportunity to do some good, and we should take those opportunities and do the right thing.
Look at them. They're trying to fight right here.
Are you happy with how things went here today?
I am. We let everybody say what they need to say as peacefully as they can, and that's how this country works.
Go back, Antifa, leave.
Most of these people live here, bro.
So do a lot of these people.
Exactly. That's your community.
That's right, I'm not your bro. Go home, Antifa. We don't want you in small town Alberta. Go home.
Today we acknowledge that we stand on Treaty 6
Hey,
territory.
Antifa, you should
Our
have spent
traditional
more money
meeting
on your
grounds
PA
gathering.
system because this little horn is like way louder than that little piece of crap.
Blackfoot, Métis,
No. We don't want to hear what you have to say.
It's a common narrative across Canada that racialized people don't get to have our voices. People often try to silence that.
I, Keisha, one of the co-founders of the group Black and Indigenous Alliance.
Your name is Keisha. Shame on you, Antifa.
Keisha, can you address
That's right. Get these racists out of here. Antifa, go home. Quiet, Antifa. We don't want to hear you.
When they call you Antifa, what does that even mean to you?
I find it to be quite hilarious myself, because if they actually knew what Antifa meant, I think, or if they cared to know, I think that they might reconsider screaming Antifa go home, because Antifa means anti-fascist, right? Like, anti is against, fa is for fascism.
You're anti-fascism, you're a fascist, which means you're a Nazi. That's all I'm saying. Well, then you're a fascist. You are.
You're a fucking lying sack of shit. Fuck you.
Just live here.
Fuck you. I've been here 47 fucking years. Fuck you.
Hey, we need a police line right in here, right in between Antifa and the real patriots of the world, because these guys here, as you can see, they're trying to fight right here. Look at them. Talk about in your face. We need a police line.
It was very shocking to us when the Ponoka RCMP would not separate this group from us at all.
Are you happy with how things went here today?
I am. Yeah.
Why couldn't you move them?
Are you suggesting one side's voice is more important than the other's?
No, I'm just...
Because it's not. So we let everybody say what they need to say as peacefully as they can, and that's how this country works.
It seems the violence kind of escalated in Red Deer?
Yes. We didn't think that in 2020, a group of grown men would come and try to just beat up a bunch of people talking about anti-racism.
These grown men coming out of their vehicles, heading towards your group, and they seem very angry, and lots of them are, putting their chest up like
and
this.
Pointing and picking people. I'm beating up this one, I'm beating up this one, I'm beating up this one. All of us were traumatized, and it was a bunch of tears and crying and terror. We actually had to call the RCMP. They were supposed to arrive early for the event. They did not.
You're gonna look at all the cops that are just fucking standing here doing nothing.
And then the police arrived and said that they have just as much right to be here as we do, that they weren't going to separate us. I understand that people have the free will and rights to say things that, whatever. But I don't believe that having us face to face like that is safe.
Video first seen on City News of an anti-racism protester being punched in Red Deer Sunday.
The event was canceled because of the violence. Red Deer RCMP say no charges have been laid.
RCMP saying, there's going to be no investigations. But then the story went viral overnight, and Alberta's Justice Minister the next morning announced that there will be a criminal investigation.
Yeah.
I would not tolerate this as our Justice Minister and Solicitor General. Police have a difficult job of keeping the peace, but it is also critically important that the RCMP maintain public confidence by explaining their role in situations like this.
It's unfortunate because we've had 3 of these rallies here in Red Deer already, which we've been at each one of them, and there hasn't been any issues in Red Deer. This escalated very quickly. Clearly the tone has changed, so we'll ensure that our response matches that.
So after making national news, you decided to organize a peace walk in Red Deer.
And we thought, we are all about a message of peace and unity and equity, so let's just do that on a huge scale. I was shocked at the amount of police presence. I mean, they did say that they were going to have police presence, they were going to put the barricades up. I didn't know that they were going to bring their tactical unit and a helicopter and drones.
Some hate groups, just 1 or 2 people trying to sneak through the barricades, and they were successful. And RCMP didn't use force, but with their language, they told them to back away, to get out of here, to go behind the barricades.
We understand the motives for why the RCMP did that.
Why? What do you think their motives were?
The motive is that they were very clearly, called out for their inaction on September 20th. And I think they also wanted to change the narrative.
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Indigenous lives matter! Indigenous lives matter!
That way. How does this feel, Keisha?
Fantastic! It was amazing. We felt so blessed. People were playing guitar and people were dancing, and we brought flowers to hand out, and people were handing out buttons. It was just, yeah.
Did you expect that?
I prayed for that.
Yeah, we made this happen!
If I send you $50, can I get the N-word pass? And I thought, why pay me $50 when you could be racist for free?
Vancouver's Chinatown is one of the oldest and one of the largest in North America. Chinese community has been a very big part in building Vancouver into what it is. Thank you.
So Howard, walk me through what we're looking at here. What's what here?
Some of the city's best barbecue meats, that's what you're seeing right here. You got the roast pork over there, the barbecue duck, the char siu, barbecue pork. We come here probably every other week.
So Howard, I imagine a cafe like this with this style is one of the perks of living in Vancouver. You were born and raised in Medicine Hat, Alberta.
So I'll tell you an interesting story. My mother and father, like many Chinese Canadians, they went into a business where they could work with limited education, with limited language skills, and they started a restaurant. So that's what they did in Medicine Hat. So my parents ended up coming out here a number of years later. And they started a restaurant in Abbotsford, and they still have it now. They still go out there at 90, at 83, and they still run the restaurant. You know, every month or so I'm out there and I help out and get a free meal. So it's good.
So what brought you out to British Columbia?
I came out to go to university because I knew even from a very young age I wanted to be a police officer. Once I finished that, I got onto the Vancouver Police Department and I haven't looked back since. And that was back in January of 1989. So this is my 31st year of policing. When I was first hired on with the Vancouver Police Department, I was number 9 of all Chinese officers ever hired. Now we have well over 200 Chinese officers.
When you look at Chinatown, has it changed?
Oh yeah, dramatically. It's too bad. Chinatown used to be thriving, lots of vitality, it's exciting, very safe, everything, you know, was clean. It was just really the hub for the Chinese community. It's changed. And I think our city this year has changed dramatically.
So I know the Chinese Cultural Center had some vandalism.
This was one that was sad to see. They had a bunch of graffiti in the back windows that were very profane, offensive, targeting the Chinese community.
That is what kind of sparked this increased response to the anti-Asian hate crimes?
Yeah, I think it was one of the earlier ones. When we started to see a huge spike was right when COVID happened, where we started to have concerns that it was specifically targeting the Chinese community with some sizable numbers. We're talking incidents and occurrences of over 100 documented over a short number of months.
The suspect began yelling racist remarks at the victim that included comments of COVID-19 and forcefully brought him outside the store where he shoved the victim to the ground, causing the victim to hit his head on the pavement.
One woman says a man yelled racist and sexist remarks at her before he spat on her in East Vancouver.
In the case of a minor of Asian descent being sucker punched on Granville Street, the suspect has not been identified.
Hate is insidious. Right now it's anti-Asian, but it spreads like a virus and impacts us all.
So we've got the lions here. These were defaced as well.
And this is very symbolic to the Chinese community, obviously. It was spray painted across and derogatory to the Chinese community. To think that you could use something like COVID as an excuse on a crime of this nature is offensive to everybody. So we had an 863% increase in hate-related incidents and occurrences against Chinese people. And being of Chinese descent, how would I not find that completely hurtful? I'm very proud of my heritage, of my culture, and you know, like when you look at the population of Vancouver, 28% of us are Chinese, and I think that's the charm of this city. We've got this good blend of cultures and ethnicities and diversity, and nobody should strip you of that.
There you go.
How are you feeling right now, Adora?
Anxiety. That's how I feel before every comedy show. I'm busy having a panic attack.
I've never seen this side of you. Like, I always see, like, Adora, a public speaker. I'm like, there's no way she gets nervous or, like, has panic attacks before going on stage.
100% I get panic attacks. 100% I'm nervous.
Let's bring her to the stage. The reason we are all here, the producer for the night and creator of the show. This is Statuess.
My name is Adora Wolfmore, and I'm born, raised, and still living the racism dream in Calgary. Yeah, clap for that. I made it another day.
You're talking about racism, and your audience could be mainly white. Like, what is the goal? Like, is it to make everybody laugh, or should people be uncomfortable in some things?
I'm going to be honest. My comedy mentor said to me, "You don't care about laughs per minute, do you?" Because sometimes people are really uncomfortable. That's what comedy's about. It's about building up the tension and then releasing it. So yes, that person should laugh. And if they laugh a little extra hard, they should question themselves.
I guess I should say that I'm the Black Lives Matter YYC president. Yeah, I'm a miserable bitch. I'm fucking the worst. At every moment, I'm like, you're racist, and you're racist, and you're racist, and you're...
The racism dream is oppression, and I'm still oppressed. I was born oppressed. I have grown up oppressed. My children are oppressed. The grandchildren that I have, we are fighting so they are not oppressed.
It makes sense because when I do stand-up in comedy, it's social commentary. So when I'm doing activism, I'm doing like direct social commentary. And sometimes I use jokes because that helps people hear me. That makes impact.
I'm living the racism dream, not the racist dream. If it was the racist dream, I'd be dead. Ooh, that was dark. That was dark. I need a tan. Can I get more light?
I am the only Black woman comedian in Calgary. I feel like there might be one more in Alberta now, but I'm gonna say for 10 years I've been the only one.
I want you to know how to say my last name properly, because the colonial version is no for, like 1, 2, 3, 5. But we're gonna say it the traditional way. No for. I'm sorry, I've never seen anybody's brain break when I said my own last name.
I want to see another Black woman doing comedy, and they're terrified because it's awful to go somewhere and have people treating you like you're less than before your set, during your set, after your set. You know, I've been physically attacked, and nobody has ever stood up for me.
We are working with a security team to protect all of us.
You've hired security for some of your events, and people have shown up to your home.
Yeah, I usually go to protests by myself. It is just recently that I have been able to have people come with me and pay attention because they are seeing that over and over again, I'm not safe.
Last week, somebody asked me if they could get an N-word pass. Yeah, they just sent me an email. Hell no! If I send you $50, can I get the N-word pass? And I thought, why pay me $50 when you could be racist for free?
How often do you still hear that directly?
I hear it regular enough, and they are not Black people. If you are not Black, you are using that word violently. I don't care how you think you're saying it, because if you have privilege, The only thing that happens when you use that word is oppression.
We should be able to come together and say what our issues are, and we should be able to do that united.
What do you hope for Calgary? You were saying you keep seeing Black people leaving and moving out, and like it's looking like this is not a community that people want to stay in.
What needs to happen is a shift in narrative, a shift in your thinking, and to me, it's not necessarily about education, it's about being respectful and being humble. So Calgary, if I, Black, Indigenous, and people of color could get a lot more of that, then I can start saying I'm proud of Calgary.
My name is Adora, also known as Statuette. Thank you for listening.
Is this something that he used to do in your class as well?
We had the same speech, the same usage of the N-word with the hard R.
Speak to me about like the neighborhood growing up here. What is Montreal North like?
It's very lively. A lot of kids, a lot of running around. And it's really just a small community. Everyone knows each other, everyone knows the parents of each other.
So this was your route to go to school every day?
Yeah, I would walk through this and take the entrance right there.
Does it upset you to be here? Does it trigger a lot of stuff?
Being back here, I'm reminded of good memories and also bad ones. I have like the best memories from the soccer field. Sometimes when we didn't feel like going to his class or we felt like just not in the mood for it, we would skip his class and hang out all together here until someone came and called us back inside.
Can you describe what we're seeing in this video that has gone viral?
So basically it's a Zoom class, his class, where he's talking about the context of the N-word historically and defending the freedom of speech that he has so he can use it in his class.
Le président de la Ligue des Noirs a voulu porter plainte et condamner le monologue de Nick Black Yvon Deschamps.
Is this something that he used to do in your class as well?
We had the same speech, the same usage of the N-word with the hard R and just short one, yeah, the same word for word. The first time I attended his class, I already knew as a visibly Muslim woman that there would be some sort of discomfort, mostly because he would target me and some other students whenever he would talk about Muslim people or Islam. Most of the time it was about hijabis, so veiled women. And then when the Charlie Hebdo events happened, he targeted me and asked me to apologize for the events as a Muslim woman. And when I refused to do so and sort of started arguing with him back and forth, he just ignored me for the rest of the class and was calling me names and telling me how I was brainwashed.
With the years now, how do you think that situation impacted you?
In my higher education, so in Cégep and university and everything, I would see some triggers that would remind me of this teacher and me being 15. So to sort of deal with the situation and the trauma, it led to me not speaking up in class anymore, not feeling as confident whenever I raise my hand, and interacting less and less with teachers. We took to social media once the video was uploaded.
Il a dit ça à plusieurs reprises à toutes ses classes. On va dire, dans un seul cours, il a utilisé 12 fois le N-word.
It was really just this tiny Facebook group amongst former students and actual students where we wanted to create this safe space where people would just talk about their experience in Henri Bourassa.
Il nous répétait constamment que nous, les immigrants, nos parents viennent au Québec que pour profiter de l'aide sociale.
It started with a few students and then now it grew to over 600 members of that group.
Thank you all so much for taking the time to speak with me today and to share your stories. What made you start this Facebook page after you saw that video?
I just got an illumination. I was like, no, this is the day where it all ends. This is where the cycle of intimidation will end with us.
Something that really shook me was that I had a sense of deja vu from all of the stories.
The sad part is because we did complaints and we weren't cured and we thought it was normal.
And not only did the principal didn't do nothing, and I know it's not just one principal, many principals were at Henri Bourassa, and he was not being talked to. He was not, nothing happened to him.
That's the problem. He knew that nothing would happen. And that shows you that the bigger picture is the issue. The whole society, how it's built, it's not built to push us up, it's built to push us down.
Hundreds of students, former and current, stand together to protest right here at Henri Bourassa High School in Montreal North, demanding the resignation of history teacher Vincent Ouellette.
A Montreal North teacher who was caught on video in a virtual class using the N-word has been fired.
One of the main goals behind Bélier Solidaire is to change things.
We want more mechanisms to be put in place to let the kids know that they are allowed to complain against a teacher, against any staff. Let them know that they also have rights, although they're minors. I'm sad to see that kids are doing the job when it should be people in authority and a principal that deals with the situation. But at the same time, I'm also proud to see the Montréal Nord youth get together, because I don't think I would ever see this sense of community anywhere else but at Henri Bourassa.
Next time on VeraCity.
The West Coast is burning.
Communities flooded out, wiped out.
It's really scary to imagine it worse than it is now.
It's apocalyptic.
It's an issue that's so serious that we need to take action now. What are we raising our kids into? What are we doing?
It's up to us to take action and really save the planet.